because it's just getting the word out. Dr. Alberts, who's the physician in chief, and he does a lot of stroke presentations. They're more technical, and in my talk that day, I said, Dr. Alberts talks to the people that know how to fix them, and I said I talk to the people that we want to recognize them. So that's the big thing. I'll just say quickly because I know you're coming down on time, but I said I can teach you fast how to recognize a stroke, and the way to recognize a stroke is FAST, F-A-S-T. It stands for face, arm, speech, and T is time to call 911. But you'll see a crooked smile or droopy, look of the face. That's pretty blatant. That's a sign. My arm was totally numb and just hanging there. You could have weakness. What you do is ask the people to put their arms out, straight out to their side, and if they're unable to hold that arm out there, that's another sign. Speech is could be jibber jabber, speaking, things that don't make sense, or you're slurring, or in my case, pretty blatant, couldn't talk at all, and those were all signs. So the key is any sign of a stroke, you don't mess around. Call 911. The paramedics will all tell you that they would rather come out on a false alarm than have you not call and suffer, more than you really need to. I've talked to a woman whose sister was with their mom, and the mother had a stroke and had symptoms, but she didn't recognize them. She didn't call 911, and she still beats herself up every day because she didn't call 911. So nobody wants an ambulance pulling up in front of their house or their office, but the thing is, it's the best thing. Just they'll all tell you it's better to overreact. It's better to have them and not need them than to need them and not have them.
Yes.
Yep.
You're safe and sorry. Bob, when you do your presentations, there's a video that has the FAST acronym in there. I'm just wondering, is that available with a link like on Facebook or something like that for people to look at? Because it's very, very entertaining, but it's really, really to the point too. It's only like about a minute or two. So if you want to talk a little bit about that, that'd be great. And maybe there's a link someplace where we could get that for the next show or to put on the website or something.
Yeah. It was actually done, by the National Stroke Association, and everybody knows the YMCA. You do it at every wedding, but this is FAST, and I play it when I do my presentations, and I say I'm going to teach you how to recognize a stroke, and I'm going to play this song, and you're not going to get it out of your head for 3 days. But it's like you said, it's entertaining. But it's also it's not hard to recognize a stroke. I started asking when I do a presentation at the beginning, raise your hand if you think that you feel confident about recognizing stroke symptoms, and maybe you get 25 or 50% of the people that feel that. But if you just remember FAST and the face, arm, speech, and time to call 911. You've got good symptoms. Don't ever let the person lay down and take a nap or anything. If any signs, you got to get in there, because I feared that if I had been alone and my arm was numb like that, I would have, had I been home or something, I would have maybe said, well, I'll just lay down and see if it goes away. I wouldn't be here today talking to you if that were the case,
Right.
So
the faster you respond, the better off you are.
Yeah. Yep. So, like I said, even if it's wrong, like if I have another couple minutes, the first presentation I actually gave was, I called it a dress rehearsal, but to our 7 a.m. network. And I said, I got to do this Saturday at Hartford Hospital, so I'll do a little practice here. So I had materials that I passed out and everything, and so I did it, and that was Wednesday. And on Friday, one of the members runs an organization in New Britain, and he's got like 45 employees. Well, one of them exhibited signs that was potentially a stroke. Jim said, I ran out to my car and got your materials, and we went through the protocol. It turned out it wasn't a stroke. It was a reaction to some new diabetic medications that the guy had, but very similar, some of the things. But when the paramedics got there, he said we went through the stroke protocol. They were pretty impressed by that. So, but I mean, there's the first time I do the presentation, and you know, it was implemented. Let's put it that way. So you never know what's going to come out of it, how many people you can help, or they say if you save one life, it's worth it. So you know. Absolutely.
All right, we're just about at the end of our time. Bob, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And if I have a page on Facebook, it's facebook.com/stroke awareness guy, and that'll bring you to my page of A Stroke of Luck. And I try to keep up to date with things that I'm doing on there, a lot of pictures and tips about recognizing strokes and everything. And also have an email. It's strokeawarenessguy@gmail.com. So if anybody has any questions or knows where I can go to do a presentation, like I said, I've been to churches and civic groups and all kinds of things. I did a presentation for Bristol Rotary, and a new neurologist from Bristol Hospital was there, and she wants me to come speak at Bristol Hospital. So
excellent.
It's going well, better than I could ever imagine. So get to do some cool things like podcasts with you. This is nice. I appreciate it.
And we're glad to have you.
Fantastic to have you, Bob. God bless, man.
Chip,
okay, thanks.
Chip, what do you think is the big takeaway from Bob's talk?
Fast.
Absolutely. If you get that, you know fast, you're prepared. And I think
Chip,
that's
Chip, you're a fast learner.
Send me my diploma.
There you go. I think one of the takeaways is that Bob's success really comes from a lot of the things we've been talking about over the past few weeks. It was people being prepared, knowing what to do, getting things done quickly, and all of that contributed to Bob's phenomenal recovery. And then we've talked a lot about networking. It was Bob's network that helped get him out and doing all of these talks. So a lot of what we've been talking about came to play here. So again, Bob, thank you so much for coming. You've been listening.
My pleasure.
You've been listening to the Success Showcase. You can catch us every week at xvadio.com/podcasts. You can also catch us on the iTunes Store, the Apple Podcasts app, iHeartRadio app, Spotify, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. See you then.